The differences between public companies and private sector companies as per 2076. The first point is paid off capital. For public sector companies, the minimum paid off capital must be 1 lakh rupees. And for private sector companies, there is no any such requirement of minimum capital. Number 2, number of members. In public sector companies, there should be minimum 7 members to any numbers. But in private sector companies, there must be a minimum of 1 and maximum of 50 members. Number 3, transfer of shares. Public sector company can easily transfer their shares to anyone. But in case of private companies, they can share their shares or they can transfer their shares only to the members. Number 4, board of director. In public sector company, the minimum board of director must be 3 and the maximum number of board of director is 11. But in private sector companies, there is no such regulation. Number 5, company secretary. The public sector company must have the company secretary. It is mandatory. But in private sector, it is optional. Number 6, publications. Public limited company has to publish their financial on annual basis. They must be transparent to their shareholders. In case of private companies, there is no such regulations. And the question is this: most of the people think if the private companies is up to 1 to 50 member, private companies hold 1 to 50 member, and they think that above 50 member, now it must be a public company. No, it does not work like that. Actually, the concept of private company and public company is very different. This is a confusion that arises to most of the people that, okay, 1 to 50 member is a private company and above 50 member will be a public company. No, it does not work like that. The concept of private company and a public company is entirely different. If you want to open a private company, if you have a 10 member, you can also open a private company and you can also open a public company. Okay, so there is no restrictions on opening a private company or a public company having a 10 members. No. The problem is no one, so people then questions, why then people do not open the public companies instead of private company? If 7 members can open a public company, then why they open a private company? This is a question that arises to everyone. So if 7 members can open a public company, then why they don't go for a public company instead of a private company? It is because the public company has to be transparent. It must publish its financial reports to the public. So it is very difficult. But private company do not have such obligations to publish their reports, financial reports. That is why people prefer private companies instead of public companies. So the concept of private companies and public company is entirely different. But don't get confused that up to 1 to 50 it is a private company and above 50 it is a public company. No. I repeat, they both are entirely different concepts. 1 to 50 member and 7 to any member, that does not give any sense. It is only for the regulation. Minimum 7 member is required to open a public company and one person can open a private company. That is a different matter, but the concept behind it is different. If there are 8 persons, they can open any of the company, either public company or a private company. But those who wants to do a business for a long period of time, those who want to issue their share to the public, then they will go for a public company. But if they don't want to issue the shares for public, then they will go for a private company. Both have a positive and negative effect. Yeah, both have advantages and disadvantages. So considering all those advantages and disadvantages, the people consider whether they have to go for a private company or they have to go for a public company. Thank you.